First of all, guys, we have an action-adventure game, I've actually mentioned this before, with the retro aesthetics of a good old 16-bit gem going by Hunt the Knight. As stated by developers though, if you love Bloodborne and Dark Souls style of gameplay, something with a high but really rewarding kinds of difficulty, and have at the same time the graphic style of a classic Zelda, let's say A Link to the Past, Hunt the Knight over here is probably the one for you. That it? All we know is that this game is coming to all platforms sometime later. Check it out. Assuming y'all, or at least a few of you over here, know Loot River, what was previously when announced described as an island-shifting action roguelike game, and now will even more, is apparently due out for the Xbox consoles and PCs only, acting as a Microsoft exclusive as of this moment. Now, surprisingly, this game's actually available now on Steam through a playable demo for free, and the full game's set to come out in about a few months from now. Check it out. Coming up next, we have Outrider Mako or Mako, a beautifully designed top-down 2D action adventure. Well, this one's chock full of Japanese-style goodness and about a girl on her journey of delivery, lost in the world of gods and trying to make her way back to her own world by doing good deeds. Anyway, Outrider Mako is mainly a hack and slasher game as well and a puzzler. This game's coming to PCs maybe late 2022. Check it out. So, moving on, it is Aether, a open-world action-adventure, and one set in a world ruined by an arcane apocalypse. Said that this game is also inspired by the golden age of RPGs, if we're being specific. Zelda, Link to the Past, maybe a bit of a link between worlds as well. But anyway, Aether, also an RPG with a fast-paced combat and an expansive world filled with secrets, dungeons, and temples to explore, is on its way to PCs possibly in the next few months. Check it out.
What place does such selfless resolve come from? No one should be able to do the things that you do.
At number 5, it's Hazelnut Bastille. So basically, after being teased out a few times for the past few years, developers of this game officially announced an official release date for Hazelnut Bastille, a game inspired by the Super Nintendo classic action RPGs, well, to be specific, Zelda and Chrono Trigger, kind of classic, and now coming to the Nintendo Switch in addition to PCs in about a few months from now. So check it out, make sure to stay tuned for that precise release date.
Why has the Dawnthorn, nature's own blade, chosen you? I cannot say there is hope, but that sword is the might of heaven. It knows the way through the ancient vaults and is equal to any foe. Let it guide you to the place this all began and steal back our future.
On the other hand, we have an adventure RPG by Top Hat Studios going by the name The Girl from Arcania, coming to PCs, Switch, and other consoles as well later this year, featuring dungeon crawling, puzzle solving, and RPG elements. There's a demo available for this game on Edge right now also for players who want to test it out beforehand. Check it out.
I'm not afraid of you!
Stand aside.
Don't worry, Brew. We'll find Ari. Hiya, Brew.
Hiya, mate.
Alright, up next we have Elementalis, coming from an indie developer that describes it as a classic top-down adventure with a modernized retro aesthetic with a lot of puzzles, enemies and bosses to take down, and eventually elements to gather. Check it out, this game's already gathered more than double its initial goal on Kickstarter and due out possibly later this year and into every single platform as well. Yacht Club Games, well, a few weeks back, this is also probably the best news out of that week, so to speak, returned with a Kickstarter on a brand new adventure game called Mina or Mina, the Hollower. What was described as an action-adventure at its core, with the classic gameplay of an 8-bit aesthetic in the style of Game Boy Color games. However, refined for the modern era. This game also just reached twice its initial goal on the Kickstarter and set to be released in about a few months from now. Check it out. Moonshell Island is, right now, without a doubt, one of the most vibrant action RPGs of 2022 so far. This actually came to me as a surprise as well. One that's taken inspiration from Zelda, mostly in terms of gameplay and story. Well, to be honest, this trailer over here kinda speaks for itself, and the rest of it, in case you should know, is pretty much Zelda formula with a dash of comedy. Check it out, this game is coming to PCs possibly sometime later this year. On the other hand, we have Dwarf, which is now set to release on PCs and Switch this year, possibly May to June, and I can actually try out the game on Steam today through a playable demo. This game is a tower defense at heart and one that's mixed with RPG elements, therefore just like Zelda, there's also a puzzle element here as well. Check it out in case you're new to Dwarf.
Fought for 'em. They'd launch arrows, stones and exploding bombs. They'd shock 'em with storm fire, burn 'em with hellfire, and hack 'em to pieces.
Where did all the warsmiths go?
They perished long ago in the Great War that drove us dwarfs from our mountain cities.
Grandpa, do you think I'll ever be a warsmith?
Hopefully you'll never need to be one. Now, go to sleep, my boy.
Under the mountain, even the bunnies bite.
Moving on, we have Cloudscape, the one and only, an open-world action-adventure survival game coming to PCs and all major consoles including Switch. Well, Cloudscapes, in case you're wondering, is inspired by games such as A Link to the Past, Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing, and a few other ones as well. It's already funded 4 times its initial goal on the Kickstarter and set to be coming out July this year. Check it out. Up next, we have Akora, a game with an open world layout similar to classic Zelda games. It is a retro-style puzzle and exploration game, also taking inspiration from titles such as Star Tropics, Sokoban. Moreover, it even features a very well-composed soundtrack. One could all go actually perfectly with such classic love letters. Check it out, there's a free playable demo for this game on Steam, and on the Nintendo eShop, this game at its full is set to be released December late 2022. Moving on, it's the Terracotta, an action-adventure game at heart based on China's Qin dynasty, which ruled for some like a dozen years tops. You'd probably know that if you played the Dynasty Warriors, I guess. And get to witness things such as the creation of the Great Wall of China and the battles that took place back then. Really interesting game, to be honest. It's bringing a lot of good kinds of nostalgia and old school formula back. Check it out. This game is coming to PCs only, and a release date for it, however, is still yet to be announced. We have Ever After Falls, described by its developers as a mix of Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon, and Animal Crossing. And throw in some good old action RPG with a dash of dungeon and a good story on top, then you get this. Ever After Falls actually successfully funded through a Kickstarter and now headed to PCs and Switch, now with online co-op support as well, and possibly due out between April to May this year. And last but not least, we have Moonstone Islands. See, an open world deck builder with some like over 100 islands to explore, lots of secrets to discover, apparently crafting, action role-playing, and alchemy. Apparently the game is basically revolving around alchemy though. Anyway, check it out. This game is coming to PCs through Steam only, developers of which said soonish.